we want to put a lot of media.
So thanks for coming in. Hello. For those who doesn't know Alberto Fanjul, he's developing IT developer for more than 10 years, and recently he has been accepted into the GNOME
Foundation.
Yeah, as a member. So that's a great.
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction. So, as you know, we are here to talk about GNOME Newcomers initiative. We're trying to understand how you can introduce in the GNOME workflow and collaborate to an open source project, which has an impact in millions of desktops all around the world. I think it's fair for this talk to talk before introduce a little bit GNOME Foundation. Because understanding how it's GNOME Foundation, you will understand why you can collaborate with him and all the things that you can do to improve his desktop and get the features you want in your desktop doing his workflow. I'm going to click on the different links to get a rough idea of what is every concept I want to speak about. And this one. First, if we go to the GNOME Foundation, and we learn a little bit about what is done. You can see that GNOME Foundation is a non-profit organization. Oh, sorry. No problem. Well, we are talking about GNOME Foundation. GNOME Foundation, so it's a non-profit organization. And its main goal is to provide a desktop for everyone. So you can, if you have Linux in your machine, you can see if you install GNOME on your system, you can have for free a lot of software and a desktop that you can use every day for your tasks. Configure your Wi-Fi, print setup, doing stuff like I don't know, different software that you can use as under the GNOME umbrella. And the main important thing here is that they tell directly for you that the software is made by you. You can see here. GNOME is focused on the software is made by you. That means that they are open to your suggestion for new features, for fixed bugs, and for collaborate with him to do so. This is a really important thing. So there are three concepts that are important in GNOME Foundation. The first one is it is free. It means that you can install your system at no cost. You can install GNOME desktop is not an easy task, so you should rely on package manager of your distro, whether you use Ubuntu or you use Debian or you use Arch like I do. The package manager will provide you the package to install GNOME, but you get it for free. You don't have to pay anything. The other important thing is it is open source. That means that you can download the code and take a look at how they do things at the low level. You can see exactly how they do everything. This is really important because when you use software and you want to pass the step that you are only a regular user, you want to see inside the code and see how things are done. And it is totally possible with GNOME Foundation. But the main part, as I said before, this GNOME is made by you, is that it is collaborative. They're waiting for you to suggest things, to provide tools, to create problems that can arise, and they are open to let you provide patches or code or documentation or anything to make GNOME a better software and a better project for everyone. This is what we are talking today. How you can do that? Because there are a regular step that you have to follow to do that, and all are simple steps, but you need to know a lot of them. And if you explain step by step, I think it's much better understandable, and you can that feature that you imagine in your mind, you can make it real, or at least make it right down to an issue and tell to somebody to take care of them, and in an interface you can see whatever you're dreaming in your own machine. Well, to give context, I think it's important to say too that there is a relation between Ubuntu and GNOME. If you know Ubuntu, you are Ubuntu users for several years, like I was in the past. Ubuntu choose for the desktop something made by them, that is Ubuntu Unity. If we go to that link, we'll see mostly what Ubuntu Unity looks like. It's mostly something like that. I think this is what's called the task. There are several concepts that they invent for his own desktop, and by the years, Ubuntu users get used to this kind of layout, or this kind of way to use application. But it happens in 2017 that they stop to develop on Unity and they come back to GNOME. That means that they are not expecting to develop anymore Ubuntu, and they're expecting to start to work again with GNOME, because GNOME was always an option for Ubuntu, but not the main option. Here's a note about that, about the return to GNOME. That was caused a lot of flame wars because people loved the decision, other people refused the decision. But today it's a reality, and Ubuntu is using GNOME again. So we expect a lot of return, a lot of feedback for users that are not using GNOME a regular day, and they want to use again because they stick to Ubuntu and the distro they have in his machine. So we expect a lot of people to provide feedback, and it's important that they understand how they can do that, because it's possible. Because if you defeat your ideas and you say that you want some feature because it's important for you, for the way you work with your machine, it is possible that it gets into GNOME desktop, and it's possible that you can get that feature, and it's possible that someone, maybe you, maybe others, do it for you. So we need to learn how we can manage that, how we can say people how they can tell us the ideas they want to see, the problems that they have. How can you spread the word about this is easy to do, you can try, maybe you can take one day to understand roughly everything and open an issue and tell to everybody, I have this problem and please, I need somebody to work on it because it's important for me, for this, for that, or for whatever. I think that for that, we will see later that this is really easy to do, and as everything in life, you just need to fight for your ideas. You need to explain it and discuss with other people why it's important, and just do it. And I think for this talk, the other thing that is important is tell who am I, because as the introduction says, I was recently GNOME Foundation member, and so I think I know roughly how GNOME Foundation works, but I'm not really I'm not really long distance from you that are sitting here. I could be perfectly sitting here and listen to this talk because I'm still learning how to GNOME do his software. But because I learned that step maybe 2 years ago, and I'm regularly connected on IRC, on Internet Related Chat. It's true that I can explain you how things can be done and give you directly idea of what things work and what not, and how to get your ideas implemented. That is the main goal for this talk. I'm a Foundation member, and I must confess I'm passionate about open source because I passed many years ago. I passed the step because in what I am only a regular user and simply install things and maybe compile things and use it for me, and start to hack on it and make the things to fit more in my workflow. Start to see how things work inside, and that allows me to step by step get into the GNOME Foundation, help others who are in same situation as me, and finally, someone thinks that all the effort that I made day by day have to give a price, and they told me if I want to be GNOME Foundation member, which I'm really proud about. And there's not much people that can say that they are GNOME Foundation member, and I take it with a lot of respect. So I try every day to spread the word like I'm doing here, and help others to reach the word in the level I am, which is not really much. It's just a lot of things that I know to do, and if you put one upon the other, you can do exactly what people at GNOME do to develop software. So, if you get these three things in mind, what is GNOME, who am I, and what's relevant to talk about GNOME as a desktop, and a lot of people will will come back to GNOME and will have things that they want to solve or things that they want to be to see implemented in GNOME. I think we need to talk about open source itself. Many people wonder if open source is for everyone. Wonder if it's something that someone do with his laptop, like coding and trying to build things and make things for his home. But in fact, open source is more than only coding. In open source, you can do a lot of things, like you can spread on social media about what open source is, or how to use software that's free to use. You can, of course, you can code for different software. You can make documentation so people can understand how to use or how to develop software. You can make translation, because the software is ready to translate in different languages, but not all of them take the same care. You can expect all the GNOME software to be in English, but maybe not to be in Spain, or maybe to be in, I don't know, in Asturiano, or in any other language that you want to be the software to be translated. So you can do. So if you find what you want to do and everything that for you is important, you can find something to do in open source. And it didn't have to make or be a consuming task for you. Maybe it's something that you can do every month or every 6 months, or taking care about some documentation, or using a program and correct some steps to, I don't know, do a print or configure your Wi-Fi or things like that. Even more on open source, and this doesn't have to happen every time, but there's a concept that is really cool. That is the difference between do it right and do it now. Many times when you work for IT and you work as a professional, there's people that work for open source professionally, but many times you have to do things quickly and at some cost. That makes you take decisions that maybe are not the best, but that works, and you get the job done. In open source, there's more discussion about how to do things. Maybe things go a little go no faster, go slower that you might want, but many times things are doing right, and see that things are doing right is really a nice thing to see. And if you have no opportunity to do that on your profession, you can reach an open source project and see how people take decisions that impact on millions of machines, and how they take care of everything that can be related with developing software. You learn a lot contributing to open source. You learn a lot about things that you think that are not so important. You understand how those things are, that decisions are taken, and you reproduce them on your work. You work developing code as I do, and you find that you have the answers for questions that you never think about before. Like, this is a bad path for something. We don't have to do this that way. We can do this thing in this way because it's better and it's more easy to maintain in the future. All the things that you get contributed to open source is things like that. But if we talk about open source and GNOME, there's a workflow that they polished during the years because they know how to do the software, and there is no only one way to do things. There's many things, many ways that you can do the same thing. So GNOME has his own, and we are going to learn how they care about newcomers, people that have more energy than skills to do things. They are open to that. This is really important because in projects that have a worldwide impact, you need to understand that many people doesn't have time to take care of you. If you want to do something, maybe you can try it, install things, build things, try it for you. Typical, it works for me. But maybe that don't have the worldwide scale to be something that someone can take care, and merge and take for a project that is worldwide. So in GNOME, they define an initiative that's called the GNOME Newcomers Initiative, where there are projects with maintainers that take care of people asking simple questions or questions that are supposed that you should know if you want to contribute to open source. This is really important. When you want to contribute to open source, there is a lot of things that you have to keep in mind. And you can simply pass or get blocked for things that are not really important, and you simply need to ask somebody why you are blocked, what you have, and if you know that someone is taking care of you and listening to you and telling you what is your problem and what is the right path to take, you can get progress. I see a lot of people that have a lot of skills, maybe in language, in Python, maybe in low-level machines like languages that are really complicated, but they really don't understand how to work in open source. This is what we get with the GNOME workflow. So, if we talk about GNOME workflow, we will find some steps, some tools, some ideas that work really well that you can apply in other projects that are not GNOME, but you will find that it fulfills almost everything you need to understand to collaborate with GNOME. So let's start talking about. There's many things you can start. You can start by talking to people. You can start by driving by suit. You can start by. I think it's fair to talk first about documentation. And there's a lot of things to document if you have an open source project. But if you know something that maybe is even little deprecated, something that people doesn't take care of, see that is something this is for the past century. It's called the wikis. Really, the wiki is a great place where document maybe some things are past, are not updated, or maybe are some obsolete. But there's a lot of things you can find in the wiki. You can see here, there's a lot of links, a lot of information. But you can see here, this is the Newcomers link, where it takes you to to the different steps you need to understand to collaborate in GNOME. They offers you you can read about it to top down, and you will find that it mainly are telling you to choose a project. Many people say, I want to contribute to GNOME, but I want to contribute to this project exactly. If you didn't know anything about open source, anything about GNOME workflow, it's better to choose one of these projects because they are in many different languages, so maybe you find your feet. But mostly you will find that these maintainers photos, music, Polari, games, maps, these people is ready to hear from you and hear your ideas and tell you how you have to do to make an idea a reality. And it's just as simple as you can click here. And you get in the internet relay type. And I don't know exactly it is. There's a channel that is there's a lot of people there, but let's change. Instead of this channel, let's go to Newcomers. As you see here, there's a lot of people trying to asking questions, trying to understand how they can contribute to GNOME, and we're here just answer to him. We can simply say hi. And maybe somebody answered us, or maybe not. It's expected that maybe we will get a response or not. This is the main thing that you can do to get your path and learn how to contribute in open source. But let's turn back to here, and you have lot of projects that can fit on your list. The important thing is find something that maybe is something that you feel that you can contribute to, like maps, like games, like to do tasks, or listen to music, search for files, or look for Finder. And when you choose one of these projects, you go to the next step, and you will find there is a technology that is called fallback that will ease you a lot. If you ever try to build GNOME server, you will know that if there are projects that depend on really other projects, there is a lot of projects that you need to build to get something to work. Fallback tries to ease you that, and we get to that later, and it's really easy to use. And they care a lot about this Newcomers initiative, and they create specifically an ID for newcomers. This ID is called Builder. It relies on Flatpak for do a lot of things, and it's really easy. And when it's really easy to use, it means that it's not particularly full of features. You can lose some things that you find in other IDs, but it's really quick to do something with it. We will see that later. But the thing is that you can choose a project. You have a technology that issues all the process to build software. You have an ID that relies on that technology to build software. Here you have the main concepts you need to know to build that software. And finally, you have to find a task to do, and there is what is called an issue tracker, where there are things that are write it down, so you can read on it and see something that is someone wants to do with the software, something that didn't work, and try to fix it. If you come back to the slide, we'll see that in this wiki you have all those steps that will come back later. Simply, you have a project to choose, either on a technology to build that software, a task that you can find when you can learn how to do this whatever you want to do. And finally, if you get the way to make a patch, to code or solve the problem or find how this is solved, you can simply get the job done. You are allowed to propose something, and the maintainer will review that, and if it's correct, you will fix something in GNOME software. So this wiki, the important thing that we are talking about in documentation is who do this, who created info, who updated it, who is the people who make those links and create the information so everyone can understand or see how you can do things. Well, there is a chain of trust. It's simply people that know you. I have rights to edit the wiki, and it's all people that trust on you and give you the permission to modify whatever. It's just this list of things. You can go to this. I think I'm here. This is mine, and this is only because someone allows me to do change on the wiki, and this is the main thing in everything open source. There is no regular step to get permission to do the wiki. I think in my case, I found something that was outdated. I suggest to change it, and someone tell me, you can do because I'm busy. I can do myself now, and I say, yeah, it's no problem. I can do, but I have no permission. No problem. I give you permission. Take care with them. Don't do stupid things with your permission. Don't delete a page or something that you never think to do, but simply someone tell you that you don't. Please don't do things like that. And till that day, I have permissions to edit anything in GNOME. So, and that day, I was not GNOME Foundation member. But anyway, someone trusts on me and give me permission. And from that day, there's a history here in the wiki, and you can find that I did a lot of edition, a lot of pages. Many people get hit back because the info I added was important or was relevant for what they want to do. So documentation is basically a wiki with a lot of links to things that are useful for people. If we look here and we take a look in the let me take it. If we take a look here on us, this is a wiki for GNOME Music, one of the projects you can choose, and is ready for newcomers. And here, there are some resources to learn things that are important for music. You can learn here a lot of things that people asking every time, and this is really useful when you get engaged with that project, in this case, music. Then, if you have the documentation, if you have something you can take a look at and mostly understand what's the problem you need to solve. Then you need to talk with people, because you know what the problem is, what you're interested in, you know how to build it or how to hack on it. But you need to talk to people, because if you think on anything in life, you want to do something, it's important that you talk with people directly and say to them what you want to do. Because that is what makes that you get your idea, get progress on your idea. You reach to here to IRC, and for many time in the ERC channels there was no backlog. Backlog is you can take a look at what people say in the days before and the hours before, to understand what the conversation is all about. But at some time they decide to disable that feature, because I think it was something related with people taking out of context things that quickly in a chat. And people suggest to use what is called a bouncer. A bouncer is that you have a server, you install their ERC, and you are always connected in your server, and you can see all the backlog. Well, for me, it's not an option. I have no choice to use it on a server. So hopefully there's a better way, and there's in these days that there are a lot of startups and a lot of products that are not that have no cost for you, but are really important for the things that you do every day. They start a service that's called Matrix, and this service make a bridge between the IRC channels and a website frontend. If I go here, I am logged in this service. I am often in this chat. You can see that here there is a Newcomers IRC chat, and here's people. You can see this is me from the IRC later. I say hi to me. and you can find here where you are connected here, you can find that you can keep the backlog and listen to people that talk to you. Maybe you can ask a question and get a response hours later, and you don't have to be always connected. This is a huge improvement into GNOME workflow, because many people are in different time zones, and you can talk with him without problems and without need to have a bouncer or something like that. As I stated here in this slide, all you see here in colors are different time zones for different people all around the world. And from projects I work on, you need to understand that I work with people here in Silicon Valley or in Oregon, and they are like 10 hours previous from us. So when I'm 10 p.m. here, they are mostly taking lunch, or when I am in the morning, they are sleeping. Or so it's really important that you have this asynchronous way to talk with people, and it really works. If you don't mind to ask a question and give your response maybe 12 hours later, it mostly works, because you are talking with people and you refer to links, to issues, to things that you think you take your time to think in what you want to do. You write it down and you link that and say, hey, I'm doing this task, I'm doing this thing, I'm thinking I'm doing this way or the other. And you get another response that takes time too, and people takes his time to give you a response, and mostly it should work. So for this, IRC is maybe the main channel where you can engage with people and get your tasks to get progress. There's only another thing that is important, and for many people it's really important, that is you use service like this, pastbean.com. That service is only a way to link things that are really, if you have to write a lot of text, you will clutter the IRC channel. This is not a good idea. So you have to write a thing that takes a lot of space, or something like a backtrace, or something like a log, or something like that. You can go here, write whatever, create a new pastbean, and this link will allow people to click on it and see exactly whatever you write here. This is simple. Something you have to know to use IRC, and without anyone, is the way people do things. People share patches with pastbean, or share logs that take maybe megas or that or something like that. And people is okay with that. So it's something that you need to know. It's really simple and it's good to know. And then if you want even more asynchronous communication, you can use the mailing list. Mailing list is maybe a thing that is from the past, but is for the future, but is for every day, because in mailing list you find something for people that didn't know Matrix or people that don't have a browser, or people that doesn't care about IRC because they find this too texty and they don't feel that this is a way to communicate whatever. Mailing list is something where you will find that you simply write an email, get responses because people are people that take care for that. And you can see for GNOME there is a lot of mailing lists where you can join. You can see there is here a new Newcomers list, so people can ask here questions. I see if someone has any question lately. Oh, in April, it seems that someone asked something like, "Is the e-commerce project?" Or something that you can say, "Well, what is that?" But someone finds that this is a way to communicate his problem or his new idea or something like he wants to do. But if you understand that this is the way that you can communicate with each other, if you forget about all the technology that you can use to do whatever, it's only people talking to other people to do things and finding a way to do that. So you have the communication, you talking to people, then you need to write down what you want to do. You can think about I sent something in a mail and I spread my idea and someone will take care of that and will do it. But if you look at your own inbox in your email, did you find anything that over when you pass a month? Do you find anything? Or what is the decisions about some term because you read your email? Your email is mostly garbage. It's really cool for today, for things I received today or yesterday, but it gets really quickly cluttered and you can not understand anything or follow things that you are typing by email. So there's another thing called issue tracker that you can use to write down the things you want to do. In the past, GNOME uses bookfiller, which is really powerful, but it's really texty too. It's something that many people, it's like a blocker to use it because you see it, this is something like this. It's like, whoa. It's only text and maybe 1 or 2 icons. Let's look about problem. I'm sure someone will say, I have a problem. It's looking at but in the end, I'm sure I will find, like, I don't know, you see it and you say, okay, forget it. I'm going to the beach or whatever because this is an insane way to manage whatever. But for many years, this was the way that GNOME write down the problems that they have and link things together and see how to solve things. But they realize that we are in this new century, that there is a lot of websites that offers you something like an issue tracker, and they choose to work with GitLab because it's open source too, and you can use it to manage code and manage your issues. So now you have something like this, which is more like this century and it's more pleasure to use And at the end, you have, I don't know if you see here, they say 3,000, like 4,000 issues. It's a lot too, but you have something that at least is pretty to see, and you don't get panic just for seeing it. As you see here, someone have a problem with some file and describe something and add a picture. So, oh, I have this problem as well. Someone take care of them, change the description, change everything. This is the way that today GNOME manage its projects. Not all the projects have been routed from Mozilla to GitLab. This is a process that is ongoing at the time we talk. But at the end, all the projects will be here. So if you know about this interface and how it works, you're seeing it. I'm not seeing it now, but I think I have several ways of logging here. Even you can log with your if you have a phone. At the end, you log here, you understand how to open up an issue, how to write things, how to ask for help, and you maybe link this on an IRC channel, and people will understand what you have in your hands and what you want to do and how to help you. So, as you can see, GNOME make an update on his workflow to follow something that today is more standard, like using a website with screencasts, when you can add images or things like that. And this is a real improvement. There was a little resistance from some maintainers that we like a lot Mozilla, but in the end, this is a good step, and many people that are not developers will find that it is easy to use in the long term and will contribute more, because many people know problems they have, know things to how they solve the problem. But if they don't have a way to share this with other people, maybe they just keep in his machine and solve something and don't share with any other. And if you have the right tool, you can share things and share knowledge and make everything easier or fix everything for anyone with this. So when you talk about issues, and we talk about the technology that is behind the issues, there's a lot of important things. You can say, I have a problem. You can post an image of that. You can explain how you get to that problem. But it's not what happens every time. Sometimes people just say, I have a problem. This is not working. I give up. You have to engage with that people and try to explain to him how to reproduce the problems they have, and how to explain to more technically what is the problem they have. And learning that, explain that to people, you can learn how to do it for you too. And the good thing about that is you will learn to work better on resolving tasks. So if you understand how to work on issues, you can easily transmit your ideas and get it implemented, because you can explain to people the steps you want to take to do something, or the steps you take to have a problem. And if this is right, if you have a good description, you will find that many people will solve it immediately, because they know that there is a good path to reproduce the problem, so they have the knowledge to reproduce it. It's just many people don't take the steps you take to reach something, and they don't get to reproduce the problem, so they cannot fix it. It's really important to understand how to fix something. And even more, when you drive-by issues your workflow, when you understand how to use a issue tracker, you will find that many times you want to implement a new feature, but you don't have to know anything about design. You don't need to understand that. Okay, I want to add this here a button to do whatever, and I want to have a dialog to list my devices and do whatever. This is not your competence. You need to ask a designer, and in GNOME there's a lot of designers that you can ask for help when you want to implement a feature. And if you go here, and you can see this is a GitHub link. This is not inside GitLab or it's not expected at this time to do so. They use the technology that fits better. You can find here something like I visit here sometimes because I know something about this project. You can see here. This is only one designer. This is Alan Day, and he designs what is a find and replace feature, and he decides what it should be, how it should like, and here there are a lot of things that you didn't think about, this is the way GNOME do a dialog, do a popover, do a text, the way you separate things. And when you develop something and you want to do that, you simply ask, in this case, Alan, I want to do a find and replace feature. Can you make for me a mock-up to understand how I want to do things? Who I need to understand to do something that fits on all the GNOME desktop? And they do it for you. So if you implement it, and then you follow the design that he gives you, it's mostly probably that they merge that feature and using his software, because you are done with the paths that they tell you to do the things. So there's another slide about driving by issues, because you hear me say a lot of things about how to do things, how you can get your ideas done, but there's real examples. There is something that you can see that you can show us to see how to get something done. And I have, of course, as I say, I can be shift in that part without problem. You can see here some issues I open or I close or I help to resolve. And as you can see, there is only a problem. In this case, there was a problem related with GNOME Music. In GNOME Music, you can see the albums, the media art of albums, and there was a problem with some albums that didn't show his information, his images, or the cover of the album. Well, there was a problem. Here are discussion about how to do it. This is a first attempt. This is something that someone reviews and take care of the code and tell me what to do, what not to do. This is another developer. This is not the maintainer, but this is another developer suggesting things. This is the main developer looking for how to do things on making suggestions too. And in the end, well, there's a lot more things to look. But at the end, all this discussion that takes, I think, like a week or something like that, ends in here. With this resolution, I think I have to move here. I can see the changes here. The changes. So all the discussion was only to add this line, and you can find it a little kind of funny, because to add a line, maybe the maintainer of the project can do by itself and doesn't care about just blaming anybody, and other developer that comes and make another suggestion. But this is for you to understand that they care about people that don't have the skills to work on the project, but wants to work on the project, and this is really important. This is one example, and you can find. This is another example. Look here. And this time is another project. This is not in the Newcomers project. This is another kind of project. But it's something about something that is kind of weird, and you can only solve if you know the terms of a project. Something like some courses doing Control-Shift, Undo Redo didn't work at all. And again, there was a chance that there was a really little change. But it took some discussion to reach that goal, to understand how you need to fix. At the end was, this is not so clear, but at the end there was something to do with this shortcut, and you need to do little steps to make it work correctly instead of get clutter on the editor, because this is for the editor that allows you to contribute to GNOME. And this takes some time to discuss, let me see here the discussion. Someone have a problem, and someone, this is the maintainer of the project, it review the code and say that it's correct for him. And then it merges the suggestion. This is how things work. You can do on big tasks or on little tasks. And this is something that is not coding by itself, but it's something that is really important in open source. It's, one project, in this case, is GNOME with the tool. Wants to use some external software. The software was not, didn't have license. So the problem was here only to do license on every file of the project, and this is called GDB wire. The maintenance is called Brasco. And my only work here was to convince him to use some kind of license that fits on GNOME, that is called EPL3. That it's important because you don't have to any Linux problems to use that, and you need to have all the code licensed. This was my job, not something related to code anything, but to convince all the people to release this software under something that is acceptable for GNOME. And these kind of things solve a problem that blocked us for a lot of months, because his project was made before our project, and his project is really well done and is really polite and polished and works really well. So these kind of things, when you write an issue and you explain the thing you want to do, somebody can asynchronously allow you to reach your goals, the goals you want to get. Once you know documentation, you know who you want to talk, and you know you are driven by issues, you just need to get the code. And to get the code, for many times, the things that is important for getting the code is the software is called Git. It is a decentralized control version system, and today is mostly the standard to do whatever. Everything in GNOME is done with Git. They started with Subversion. They use it as everyone. I think everyone here use Subversion, but today everything is Git. And they have his own server to provide the code, the repositories to everyone who wants to download, because it's open source. And they are migrating all the code to GitLab too. GitLab controls code, and issues. So now you can find under this link, you can find almost anything that is important for GNOME. You can go here. This is the file manager. You simply go here and clone it with this link, and which is here. And it's easy to use, and you get the code, and you can compile using the ID builder, and you easily can get your hands in something that's working. Just download the code. What you need to understand to use Git is the thing that's called merge request. That is, you have a code and you do your changes and suggest that changes. For suggest that changes, you need to use the merge request feature that is implemented in GitLab. When we see previously the code that we changed on GNOME Music on GNOME Builder, what we see is really a merge request, something that I want you to merge this on your project, and when the maintainers think that this is correct, they merge into the project. This is the concept of merge project. There is another concept that is important, that is linear history. That means that if you do a suggestion, you can. I will try to explain maybe in the air. When you do a suggestion, you do in time. There is commits from the project, and at some time you make a suggestion. This is a branch, but the project keeps going with other things that can happen in the project. So if you suggest at any moment something, the project keeps going, and you want to merge that code in the project, you will end with many people suggesting many things, and everything creates like it's calling the tree of hell of Git. This is many different branches merging in the future in the code, and the code gets a little cluttered. And many maintainers doesn't want to manage his code this way. So you have the thing that is called reverse. Reverse, what it do is you suggest a thing. There are another comments, and then you rebase your code on top of master. So when you merge that code, it's simply this is the last commit for a project. This is your suggestion. Reverse it, and when someone accepts it, it's just the next commit. So there is no branches and merges. It's all linear. And this is important. For many people, it's a stopper because a maintainer asks him to do something. They takes his time to do it, and when he do it, the maintainer says, "Please rebase your code on top of master to merge it, because maybe when you do the rebase, there are some conflicts and you need to fix it." And many people don't know how to do it, so many things gets not done because people don't know how to rebase. As you can see in the channel Newcomers, you can ask about rebase, and we are there to explain you and give you links to things to understand how you make a rebase. Even more, you need to understand some couple of things like commit style, which means how to explain in the code what you change. This is something that is in Wiki 2. And it's, as you can see, is something like this. This kind. You have a subject. You have some explanation. And you have to understand too what is the code style. Because code style means if you have something that is the code style, that means how do you do things and how do you indent the code, and everything else is something that is really manual, that really takes many time. So you can use something that is called continuous integration. that is something that gives us to GitLab, and that's allow maintainers to automatically check commit style, code style, and everything, and reach to no request. Can take his time and review it because they have all these things correct. Okay, so we understand these things, and we have another thing that is important. That is, if you develop code, you have a project that depends on many other things. With the technology called Flatpak, you ease that process. In what way? Flatpak allows you to build everything for you and just compile your code. So we see here how it is done, but it's not important to understand. It's just Flatpak allows you to forget about that. There's something called GHBuild. Let's call it GHBuild, and GHBuild is the previous attempt to develop code, and it takes a lot of time. Maybe something like WebKit that is developed a day for many projects takes like hours and compile. In Flatpak, you get it directly, so there is a great improvement. There's another thing that's called build stream. That is the next thing, because it's more focused in developing in every step of a project, and this is something that is developing at this time. And when you get all that done, you will see that this is a wiki on my own for the steps you need to develop on Flatpak. And you see there is a lot of command line comments, and this is really a big nasty for someone that wants to understand how to develop a project. Well, you get some ideas like GNOME that ease you those steps. What you get with Builder, you can see here. With Builder, you just clone the project. Let me show you. You just clone the project. You will see here we are adding the URL of the project. You just clone it. This downloads for your system. This is you can see here. This is the code of the project. You can build it, and it takes care of the runtime of everything that your project needs to build. And you simply press the button, you run it, and this is the project in 3 seconds. Build it. This is totally amazing, and that allows you to make little changes, understand the code, and suggest your changes. So.
Es que las dos tienen los consejos cierran. Los dejan aquí.
So, only if you have any questions or something to check, but okay. Many thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the workshop. No.
Ya los dos nos cierran.
Y si lo comemos puede pasar algo. Bueno, pero que se ha encerrado, sí que puede pasar algo.